Hello everybody, it is your boy Daddiano. Someone outside walking, lovely. Anyway, what the purpose of this video is I kind of want to talk candidly about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3, The Long Night. Now, it's been very controversial and sort of split 50-50 down the middle from what I've seen on whether this episode was good and like a lot of like key points it went over. And so, full disclosure now, I'm going to be talking spoilers. Like, it's been like nearly a week since the episode's been released now. Especially from the point where I'm probably going to get around to editing this and uploading it. So, I think that's enough time. But yeah, spoilers. So, I've got a vague list here to kind of keep me on track because I will go off track. I know that for like pretty much definitely. And so the first point that I did want to bring up is that everyone's been complaining about it being too dark. And I understand where people are coming from, but they're wrong. They just are. I'm sorry. So I get it because it's dark and it's hard to see things, but from my perspective as you know, I'm not like a bloody director or anything. I don't know really what I'm talking about. But from my perspective, it made every battle seem way more tense and like it put me in the shoes of the character. So for example, when they're all on the battle lines, and then Melisandre comes along, before she obviously comes, you're feeling really tense. You can barely see anything. You can't even see the threat in the distance because that's the point. And then Melisandre comes and she lights up the dothraki swords. Now, if it was really well lit before then, the effect of the dothraki swords being lit up, or whatever, I don't even know the name of the actual swords, but you get what I mean. The effect of those being lit up would not hit me as hard as it did in the show. Because when it did in the show, I'm like, Jesus, go on lads, go at them. Similarly to, I guess when the dragons go into the storm that winter brings, or the Night King brings, either or, I guess they're the same thing really, aren't they? And yeah, like the whole point is that Jon can't see where he's going. You're complaining about not being able to see. It's because obviously Jon can't see. That you're in the position of you're following the character, so of course you're not meant to see where it's going, and that's why they bump into each other. The one thing that I will say is I did see on Reddit Free Folk, I did see someone slow down the clip and brightened it up during the battle between Rhaegar and Viserion, and it was very interesting because you do get a better idea of how that fight goes, and pretty much if you do watch it, Rhaegar just absolutely rips into Viserion pretty much. He kind of gets owned, whereas a lot of people watching it live, like myself, thought it was quite an even fight. But I mean, you even see this part where he just rips off half his face, like it's mad. I'll say fair play. Like on one side, I'm like, you know, not being able to kind of tell what quite's going on is it heightens up the drama while you're watching it live, because obviously you're worried about your main characters and you're worried who's gonna come out on top. Whereas if it's well lit, you can kind of see everything going on and the tense atmosphere goes away. But what I will say is, why do all these cool little things like biting his face off when you can barely even see it? So that's where I kind of get where people are coming from. But apart from that, the lighting thing, not an issue for me, and I really just don't get it. Why people are complaining about it. Turn up your brightness, lads. It's easy. Come on. Anyway, secondly, the absolute battle strategists that are on Reddit Free Folk saying how they set up the battle incorrectly. Why put the Dothraki at the front to charge them? They should have just sat back, and why put the trebuchets in front of the Unsullied? Alright. The latter of that with the trebuchet, I can't even say the words, so it's going to prove my point. I don't know what I'm talking about there. So it's fair play. If that's accurate to the history, then I'll take defeat on that. But you're watching a show, who actually cares? That's my take anyway. The Dothraki, the whole point of the Dothraki is that they are lethal on an open field. So obviously, the Dothraki have never seen the Army of the Dead. They don't know what to expect. I'm sure like the people who have told them, but then at the same time, you've got I think it's 10,000 Dothraki, right? I might be wrong. It might be even more. But like, you've got this massive Dothraki army. and they're lethal on the ground. Do you know what? My bet would be they'd be able to put in quite the dint into the army. Obviously, it's a sacrifice. I don't think there's any situation where they survive. But if you're thinking battle strategy, and, you know, sometimes you've got to, you know, lose some to get some. Take, for example, for Rob, when he sends a portion of his troops to go fight Tywin, and then goes and takes Riverrun with the majority of his army. But obviously that other army that went to fight Tywin dies. It's, you know, it's tactical. So that's what the Dothraki were, but it goes really badly. And obviously, like, Melisandre lights up the swords. It's an amazing visual. So even if, like, everything else was wrong, just to get that visual, I'd say allow it. It was alright. It was decent. But yeah, and I mean, I will touch on this as well later. But the Dothraki have been in the show since, like, literally since episode 1, season 1. Obviously, it's a different incarnation of the Dothraki. It wasn't Khal Drogo's, like, little gang. I guess maybe some of them. I don't know how it quite works, but obviously got the army through Vaes Dothrak, I think it's called. And now they're all wiped out. I would say that's a pretty major character death. I don't know about you guys. Obviously, I don't know them all by name, but just them as a collective. Everyone knows who the Dothraki are. So if you treat the Dothraki as an entity, the whole Dothraki are dead. That is a major character death. Anyway, I'll elaborate on that later. Okay, and to be fair, I want to touch on one thing that I can agree with everyone on. How in God's green earth is Sam Tarly alive? It is ridiculous. Like, the stuff with Dolores Ed I'm fine with, because obviously that's the whole thing. Like, he's just slowing everyone down and getting people killed. But I'm talking about the part at the end where he's just laying down on that pile of bodies and he's like crying and just stabbing his way through. Obviously, at this point when I'm recording, I haven't watched the next episode, so I have got maybe a slight theory where he might die next episode from wounds. Kind of a bit like what's he called now? Oh, Kingsguard. Sir Barristan. Okay, there we go. God, that's right. So Sir Barristan, when he, like, is like a massive standoff, him and Grey Worm both go down, and then in the next episode you find out that Barristan's dead and Grey Worm's still alive. Like, I think it was like everyone thought that they both died, but obviously Grey Worm survives, and Sir Barristan doesn't. But yeah, it might be like that with Sam Tarly, I don't know. But it's a bit dodgy how he survived. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, to be fair, I've kind of touched on the dragon battle a little bit with it being too dark. Yeah, I was gonna talk a little bit about it. The dragon battle was epic. I loved all the dragon battle stuff. It was great. But I think I've kind of touched on that. I want to get through these points quickly because otherwise this is going to go on for a hell of a long time. So, also, character deaths, right? So everyone's kind of come into this. This is my big one. I'm going to warn you now. This is my big one. Everyone's come into this expecting major character deaths. That's okay. It's a massive battle. It's like Battle of the Bastards. You thought you were going to get like some big character deaths. The Battle of Blackwater. I'm trying to think, Battle of Blackwater Bay. Did anybody actually die? I don't think they did. Battle of the Bastards, I mean, I guess. Ramsay Bolton, but I think that was kind of a given. So yeah, everyone was expecting some major character deaths. I don't know why. I guess it was kind of hyped up, but was it not just hyped up by its own audience rather than the creators of the show? All the creators of the show hyped up was the fact that it was a really long battle, and it might be like and that was quite an achievement in of itself, which it is, regardless of how you thought of the battle. It still is the longest battle, and it took like 55 days to shoot. Big achievement. However, the fact that everybody on Free Folk and Song of Ice and via Reddit pages are saying that no major characters died is ridiculous. How can you do my boy Jorah Mormont and Theon Greyjoy that badly? I'm pretty sure it's like the first or second episode where Jorah Mormont comes into it, and he's pretty much in every episode following that. Major character. Theon Greyjoy had one of the best character arcs in the whole show. How is he not a main character? That whole story came to a major climax. What I'm actually going to do is leave a link to a video that I watched where it's a fan edit of Theon. And if you watch that video and you don't feel for Theon, then I don't know what will, because I will admit, before I watched those sorts of videos, I was very much on the why does everyone suddenly like Theon again? He's still a bit of a, But since watching that video, I can kind of understand it because it plays the perspective. You see, obviously, Robb Stark was an absolute bell to him, like saying like, "Oh, this is not your house. You're not a Stark. You can't do this. You can't do that." So I understand it. Anyway, I'm guessing this is why I need my little sheet, because I'm going off. This is a whole other video within of itself. That's Theon. And then Jorah has this massive standoff at the end, and he's pretty much dead, but then he sticks his sword into the ground, gets back up, and fights to defend his queen. That's his character arc. And then even then, the little subtle hints within of the show, whether intentional or not, he is fighting off the dead with the sword, Heartsbane, and he's protecting his Heartsbane of Dany, if that makes any sense. Nice little subtle hint there, I think, anyway. But yeah, the character, and like I said before, the whole of the dothraki got killed off. Major character. A big portion of the Unsullied got killed off. Major character. In my opinion, anyway. Theon and Jorah got killed off. Major characters. I'll give you Dolores Ed. He's not a main character, but it was still everyone who doesn't like Dolores Ed? Lyanna Mormont, similar thing, not a main character, but she was a fan favourite, just like Dolores Ed, and he died. She died even. So yeah, there's some, and let's be honest, like, so if you kill off like Brienne or Jaime, it will lessen the impact of those other deaths and make them pointless, and they still have a role to play in the rest of the show. Jaime's about to take on Cersei. Brienne, if my theory turns out correct, I believe that Sansa will end up on the throne. If my theory turns out correct, then Brienne will be the Lord Commander of the Queen's Guard. Or it doesn't have to be Sansa on the throne. I reckon she's going to be the commander of the Queen's Guard. Either way, so she still has a part to play. I agree, maybe Tormund could have died. I think that's one that I'll be on board with. Tormund could have died. But then there's some interesting plot points that we can make. Like, literally no one's north now. North of the wall. No, they're all dead. That's free land. Tormund will take his boys up there, maybe, and settle down again. Like, I don't know. We've still got episodes to come, and that might be fleshed out. But the idea that no major characters died is just ridiculous. Now that went on for a while. You can tell why I was passionate about it. And then finally, to kind of summarise this all up, obviously, and this is the one that's had like fewest criticisms, but I'll still address it, is the fact of Arya being the one to defeat the Night King and not Jon Snow. Like, on one hand, people are saying like they like the show because it's unpredictable and it kills its main characters. But then on the other side, it's saying, "Oh, we want Jon Snow to beat the Night King." That is the most cliche and obvious thing that could have happened. So you can't have the best of both worlds. You can't praise a show for being unpredictable and not doing the conventional things, but then complain at it when it doesn't do the conventional things. Having Jon defeat the Night King would have been boring and anticlimactic. That's why, in my original predictions that I made with my friends, I actually did predict that the Night King would fall in episode 3. But my reasons were completely different. I thought he would fall in episode 3 because I didn't think that they could end the series with the Night King dying and be satisfied, because I did believe it would be Jon Snow killing the Night King, so I thought that would be really unsatisfying and it wouldn't be a great way to end the series, and so I thought they'd tie that plot up earlier and then have the main battle be Cersei at the end. But literally, if that was the end of the series, obviously with the caveat of like, if they tied up all the Cersei stuff in episode 3, 4, whatever, and then went on to defeat the Night King at the end of the series, I'd be satisfied. That was brilliant to me. And then, not really a point, but the music of Game of Thrones is great in it as well. I just wanted to put that in there. I love the music of Game of Thrones. Just wanted to give that a shout out. But yeah, Game of Thrones, man, it's great. Episode 3 was great. Everyone saying it wasn't is just, allowed to have an opinion, but it's the wrong opinion. But I am, to be honestly, like, without, obviously, I've thrown my weight about a bit and kind of claimed what is and what isn't. I'm genuinely interested to hear what you guys think and actually, toss around some ideas in the comments below. To be fair, there's a lot of arguments that I will not have mentioned on this video that are kind of in the comments below. So yeah, get involved. And to be fair, if you want to see me kind of talk about more TV episodes, I'll be more than happy to be fair. And just something that I never thought of doing until I felt like I had something worth saying, which I do in this episode. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.